What's up, family? Welcome back to another legendary reaction video. Get this video a big thumbs up, man. Come on, like it up. We got ESPN gets destroyed by Caitlin Clark. Let's get it.
Stephen A., I could actually argue that it hurts the game more if they had given her a roster spot over someone more deserving.
So go ahead and argue it.
That's exactly what I'm saying, because I think it makes a mockery of the women's game. If the focus on, now we just have to have people because of marketing and their attention, and they're not as talented, and we're not putting the best team out there.
What did you just say?
They're not as talented.
Say it again to my face.
And they're not as talented.
Come again?
And they're not as talented.
Several months later.
Now it's crickets.
No
What's up?
Bro, has this woman even played basketball that's talking? Comment down below, please, bro.
Denied the fact that she's a star and she couldn't play. It was just that it takes.
Y'all were denying it, Molly. Don't do that.
And there's
Don't do that, Molly.
Shannon, what are you saying? People didn't
Don't
think
do
that
that.
Caitlin Clark was talented?
What?
I know that ain't who I think it is.
If you're not a big fan of one Caitlin Clark the past couple of games, they've been really rough on you. As Clark every single night puts up 25 to 30 points, 10 to 12 dimes, and most importantly, her team is winning.
Hello? You play to win the game.
Now, the unfortunate thing for Clark when it comes to the media, people like Molly Cam on First Take, they move the goalpost every single day. And like you saw in that intro, months ago Molly Cam said Clark was, quote, not as talented, and her being on Team USA was a mockery of the sport. Now, Molly Cam right there, she was confident, she had conviction, she was really dead set against Clark being on Team USA. Now, fast forward a month and a half, Molly Cam moves the...
Bro, this girl, Molly Quorum, didn't even play basketball. But see, that's how I look at it, man. It reminds me of LeBron James, right? LeBron James, 16-year-old, was on the cover of a magazine, received a lot of backlash, received a lot of hate. When you're great, you receive the hate. The hate that comes with it. It's hate that comes with it when you're great, right? And it may seem like annoying. Well, it is annoying. But as you be a great, you have to continue to prove them wrong. And eventually the love comes in because they have no choice but to join you as you lead by example, right? And it's like similar to the Steph Currys and the LeBron James. And women that are standing amongst each other and continue to say, oh, it's a mockery of the game of the WNBA, and it wouldn't, just for a marketing reason, and her being put on, Caitlin Clark being put on Team USA, but it's not really beneficial to the WNBA, and women being biased of that, and being biased for the simple fact that because they're women, it's like, at the end of the day, the same way LeBron James received the hate and his teammates doubted him and like, yo, this man, before he even got to the NBA, and he continued to prove them wrong. And he didn't start getting love until he was with the Cavaliers. And even when he left the Cavaliers and went to the Heat, he got backlash for it. Said he couldn't win on the East. And now, as LeBron James handled it very well and continued to show them and prove them wrong and continue to work his way up the ladder, so come with being a great. For example, like Caitlin Clark, Andrew Reese is nowhere near in the league, nowhere in the ball game of Caitlin Clark. Andrew Reese is just hyped up. Caitlin Clark is actually backing it up, right? And it's the same thing with the Larry Birds. And if you want to look at the rivalry, because the controversial rivalry, and it seems fun because the rivalry was from them being in college, Caitlin Clark versus Andrew Reese. And Larry Bird continued to back it up. And Magic Johnson backed it up. But they lived up to the hype. In this case, it's only one person living up to breaking records and showing that she's phenomenal is Caitlin Clark, right? The only thing that's being covered for Andrew Reese is rebounds. But other than that, I feel like this what comes with being a great. And she will continue to prove them wrong. And at the end of the day, they're going to have no choice but to love her. And for those who loved her already, real recognize real, man. That's all, real recognize real, you heard?
Post per usual. As now all of a sudden, nobody doubted Clark, her talent, her skill, her overall ability. when Molly Cameron a month prior was doing just that. For a lot of these female analysts, for one reason or another, they want Caitlin Clark to fail at every single turn. As even looking at her college days, Molly Cameron back then was saying someone like Paige Beckers, if she was healthy, would diminish Clark and her overall stardom.
If Paige Beckers didn't basically miss 2 seasons, I don't know if we'd be talking about Caitlin Clark the way we are now. And that's facts, Stephen A.
The Rock says, know your role and shut your...
Welcome to the Cheerios obstacle.
Crazy, man. She used to have family. It's just mind blowing. You know what I'm saying? How they can't even substantiate their argument, let alone their proof, and they don't have no facts to back it up. Because as you obviously, as you seen, Stephen A. Smith said, "Okay, state your argument." She just said, "I made my point. I said blah blah blah." It's a mockery of the W. But you didn't make no point, bro. You just said a bunch of nothing. Just throwing around words and hoping that it stick on the wall. It's like throwing spaghetti and hoping it stick, right?
Now, looking back at Molly's USA comments, saying Clark at the time wasn't as talented, as skilled, even then, was a false statement. As Clark, pre the selection, played 23 games, 17 points, 8 assists, 6 boards, nearly 2 steals, on great shooting. At that point, Clark in the entire league was first in assists, top 15 in scoring, top 5 in threes made, and the best player on her team. And despite that, was passed over for really political reasons that had nothing to do with basketball.
Right.
As looking at their roster, someone like Chelsea Gray, who's a decent player, was put on the roster in place of Clark. And prior to selection, she had only played 9 total games. And in those games, I wouldn't say was lighting it up, averaging 8 points per game, 5 assists, 3 boards, on decent shooting. So Chelsea Gray, who's 32 years old, injury prone, coming off injury, was put on the roster ahead of Clark. Kind of suspect. Then someone like Taurasi, who's 75 years old, who's played in like 12 Olympics, for some reason.
Sorry, fam, I ended up muting myself. See what happened when I'm talking trash? She washed up and she need to retire. No cap about that.
To be on this team. And her numbers pre-selection compared to Clark, again, Caitlin, better across the board. Clark being left off the team 100% was a political move for their optics, as they didn't want Clark saving their roster or in the face of their team, despite being a rookie. And for a lot of these players to talk about growing the game, making the game more popular, Clark on this team would have done wonders for their cause. But of course, Clark, not exactly the fan favorite of these players, coaches, or the media.
And Team USA is not worried about marketing. It's not their job to grow the WNBA.
It's unfair to the women of this league, to your point, who have laid the groundwork for Caitlin Clark to come in and now take it to the next level.
Now is the time to stick to what you know and what you've always done, which means putting the best team together. Now is not the time for that. And she would only have 7 practices with this team, Stephen A.
Who talk about women's sports more than First Take?
Stephen A., respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to.
Now, that bundle of clips right there, kind of the summer of the WNBA, has been unsuccessful for close to 25 years. As even when the Clark come into prominence, they're still complaining, still whining about past players not getting their due. And look, here's the harsh reality.
Yeah,
past players,
that's what they're going off of. They have this attitude like, look, we've been here and you have to prove yourself in the game. And you have to prove yourself in the WNBA for you to receive your credit. And at the end of the day, when it comes to being a great, they always going to make you prove something. Some people ain't never going to be satisfied, but it's a lot that obviously you're going to lead by. You just got to lead by example, and she going to keep leading by example, Caitlin Clark, and then eventually those will fall the line, and those who don't will fall by the wayside. Like I said with LeBron James, when I compared to LeBron James received hate for a very long time, bruh.
Legends, they may have been great players, but what they did for the sport,
because their point is, and I'm thinking of it objectively, their point is the individuals that's already in the WNBA is like, look, you're a rookie. You ain't been here long enough. You're a rookie. Andrew Reese and Caitlin Clark, you're rookies. You have to prove your point in regards of playing on this level and showing that y'all great of all time. So in their eyes is you can't be a greatest of all time when you a rookie. You just got here. But at the end of the day, as you continue to show, obviously the greatest of all time, you will cement it on your own as Caitlin Clark is doing without those and all the noise around you.
Comparable and close to what Clark has done
Let me run it
in
back
only
a little
one
bit. Let me rewind it back a little bit because I was talking, family.
Those past players, past legends, they may have been great players, but what they did for the sport, not even comparable and close to what Clark has done in only one season. And what a lot of these so-called analysts don't understand is the promotion of a sport without interest means absolutely nothing. If there isn't a reason to tune in, people aren't going to tune in. If there isn't a player or a team that is worth watching, all the promotion in the world does nothing. And looking at someone like Cheryl Swoops, kind of saying the exact same thing. The WNBA, they didn't need saving, they just needed promotion. That right there is the biggest load of crap I've ever heard. This league
That's type strange then, because the biggest promotion that you got is a player coming in and showing how valuable she is in a short amount of time, right? So obviously y'all needed a boost somewhere. Y'all still needed a boost. Y'all still needed some type of asset to help y'all to get where y'all are now. And that took Caitlin Clark, and it's not just hype around it. Caitlin Clark is doing her thing and rocking out. And it's not, nobody can discredit that or take the credit away, no matter how much you try to say promotion. Y'all been trying to promote. Y'all started incorporating the WNBA in 2K games, basketball games or 2K. Or 2K, NBA 2K basketball game. Y'all tried it. People wasn't going for it. People wasn't rocking. Y'all got a real baller. She just out there hooping in the game. People interest. And to make it even better, she not only a real hooper. The problem is, put it like this. As a guy, I'm going to be checking out for college women's basketball before I start checking out for WNBA. The accolades, let alone the action that she did in regards of backing it up. And when I say backing it up, is how she played a game of basketball from college. It was evidently shown that she would be phenomenal. And obviously that transcended over to the WNBA. So viewers from college, which you got March Madness and all those type of things, in college, as we can all say, everybody out there hungry. They dogs, right? Because a lot of people don't even be checking for men's basketball, the NBA, until the playoffs. We be watching the college, right? She evidently shown as an asset because not only was she valuable to college basketball, but she brought the same audience and the credentials over to the WNBA as an asset. And that's what promoted y'all to be as big as y'all are now. If it was that case, they would have kept going with the marketing. And obviously, it's evidently shown that through the player that's actually playing the game would be your best promotion and valuable asset, because look at the NBA. They always looking for the next face of the NBA. Rather it was, I don't know, Dr. J, Magic versus Bird, Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, you name it, man. Kobe Bryant's. Come on, man. Shaquille O'Neal. Come on, man. Dwayne Wade. They just look for different faces of the NBA, and they conglomerate before the game. They'll focus on that, even to make matters even more evidently shown of my point, is usually, if you look at it, look at the NFL. The point I'm trying to make is the two teams, for example, that have played in the championship. Let's take the Boston Celtics and I gotta remember who they played. the Dallas Mavericks, right? When the new season come up, they'll put those at the regular game or the preseason game. Just to add the hype, to keep the adrenaline and the hype pumping, and using that championship as a way of promotion with the two vocal point faces of both franchises. You got Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic versus Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Now they're not even using just one face. They're using multiple faces and duos as a way to promote, using a player as a valuable asset because they have the credentials to be valuable enough to be the face of that moment, to continue to boast or boost or promote, whatever word you want to use, the NBA. So obviously y'all needed Caitlin Clark to boost or promote the WNBA.
Clark had gotten tons of promotion really post 2016. And despite that, their ratings or attendance had gone up marginally. They've been getting promotion on NBA games, NBA players, social media, mainstream networks, all the time. And not once in that time period the league skyrocketed like it has with Caitlin Clark. So yes, Cheryl Swoops your league, it did need saving in the worst type of way. And unfortunately for you, the person who saved the league was Caitlin Clark.
Who talk about women's sports more than First Take?
Stephen A., respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to.
Now look, I'm not the biggest fan of Stephen A. Smith, but those comments right there are completely out of bounds. As Stephen A. by himself couldn't have saved this league if he tried. And when it comes to First Take, they don't even talk baseball.
All Stephen A. as all not analysts do, they seek the hype around something and they put their opinion. Some put facts, like Charles Barkley, straight to the facts, and you got some that just seek controversy and seek millions of views for a big pay. Money driven. And constant false narratives or messy propaganda that come along with it. Stephen A. couldn't save the league. That's why he didn't cover it. There was no money in there. It wasn't going to benefit Stephen A. in First Take viewership-wise, because then nobody was checking for y'all from a business perspective.
Hockey, which are major sports in America. You know what they're not going to talk about? The WNBA, at least not prior to Caitlin Clark. Because of course Clark gets ratings, gets views, and has people invested in the sport and her team. If back in 2017, 2018, they were talking WNBA, you know what would have happened? Click, turn off, change channel, the ratings would plummet. Like I said earlier, promotion only does so much if your product is garbage.
Yep.
And let's make one thing very clear right now. Caitlin Clark isn't popular because of her skin color or anything like that. Why she's popular is her playstyle, her flash, and being basically female Pistol Pete. Players like Asia Wilson, Brandon...
You can say that. Do y'all think she's a female Pistol P? I think she more like a... From a shooting standpoint, she's the female Steph Curry. Yeah, from a shooting standpoint, she's like a Steph Curry. Yeah, she's more of a Steph Curry player to me. Comment down below, what player y'all think Caitlin Clark seems to resemble more to you?
Stewart, Brittany Griner, they're Hall of Fame players, first ballot, no doubt. But those players, they're like the big man equivalent of someone like Kareem. Kareem's game, he was talented and skilled. Was he box office must-see TV? No, not really. And for the majority of his career prior to Magic, his NBA was struggling. What it took was Magic and Bird to uplift Kareem and really save his dying league. The same with Asia Wilson, Brandon Stewart. They're great players at this point, still better than Clark. But Clark is box office must-see TV, a much more entertaining player. And one last thing I do want to touch on is Clark post the USA snub. As in 11 games, her team has gone 9-2. And individually, she's bowled out and been fantastic. 23 points, 10 assists, 5 boards, 1 steal on much improved shooting. Scoring-wise, Clark ranks 3rd in the league, only behind Mitchell and Wilson. Assist-wise, first by a mile at over 3 per game. And in terms of long-range shooting, ranks first in made threes at 37 during the span. If Clark's doing this as a rookie at 22 years old, can you imagine a year from now, 2 years from now, when she's in her prime at her peak and her game is complete and well-rounded?
Bro, 2 years from now, I don't think nobody gonna be able to touch her. I think she gonna be breaking ankles. That's just my opinion.
Caitlin Clark's ceiling, quite literally, is the best player of all time. That's not hyperbole conjecture, that's simply what it is. As always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.
Alright, family, well, comment down below. How do you guys feel about that ESPN tape? I felt like it was a bunch of just biased nonsense. And when I mean biased, she was just being biased. Right along with the woman who's on the anti-hate Caitlin Clark train, just for the sake of it. Do you guys feel like Stephen A. Smith could have saved the WNBA, putting them on his platform 3 years ago? I don't believe Stephen A. would have even be able to highly even benefit the WNBA. If anything, they probably would have said to take the trash off of the airs and not even cover it. That's just my take on it. Comment down below yours. Other than that, family, I hope you guys enjoyed it, let alone my perspective. Give this video a big thumbs up. On that note, family, peace. Make sure y'all comment down below. I want to hear you guys' perspectives.